The Houston Oilers were a football team that left for Nashville in 1997. They became the Tennessee Oilers for 2 years, and then they became the Tennessee Titans. That left the Houston spot open for an NFL team, and that's where the Texans swooped in. And their debut season was full of memorable moments, and as it turns out, 240p clips. Want to see the first offensive play in Texans history?
Here comes Roy Williams. 31's right up around the line.
And Carr to throw on first down. And throw long. Bradford. There's a flag. Interference on Westbrook. Holy cow, what a start.
Look at the blocking for this offensive line. He's got all day.
Ironic.
That was neat. Want to see the first touchdown in Texans history?
Cowboys come with 4. Carr with time. Complete down to the 5. Diving for the end zone. Touchdown, Billy Miller. Are you kidding me?
That was great, wasn't it? Well, the Texans went on to win that game thanks to a 65-yard score from Corey Bradford.
Bradford! Touchdown!
Which means they avoided the fate of the 1976 Buccaneers by winning a game in their first 26 games. True story. The next week, they faced the Drew Brees-led Chargers, but the Texans quarterback David was turned into a beat-up old used car thanks to the 9 sacks given up by the Texans O-line. In fact, Ben Lieber himself got 3 sacks. Week 3 netted them their first game against a division opponent, the Indianapolis Colts. It wasn't pretty, as the Texans received their first home loss in franchise history, 23-3. In Week 4, the Texans faced Philadelphia, who were pretty good. But early on, not so, as despite an early touchdown from Bradford and an interception on Donovan McNabb, Brian Dawkins took matters into his own hands by recovering a fumble.
Got a problem, and then he, with his legs, gets it, loses the ball. Eagles have it. It's picked up by Brian Dawkins, the all-pro safety.
Then he got an interception.
And it is good for a gain of 8 yards. Now Carr takes a look, throws downfield, intercepted. Brian Dawkins, the greatest free safety in the game.
Then he scored on a fake punt.
I think that would be a professional athlete when you see there's a fake, Don.
Look at this. The Eagles on the run. One man to beat. The block is there. And Dawkins flying into the end zone. And so Andy Reid, a master at trick plays.
And then he recorded a sack just for good measure. And that, kids, is why this is known as the quadrifecta game, which might not be a word. The next game was a loss against the Bills, and then a loss against the Tim Couch-led Browns. Then it was back to the division for Houston, where they picked up their first division win against the Jaguars in Jacksonville. The next week, Chad Johnson felt the need to guarantee victory, which, yeah, Chad, that's not necessary. In Week 10, they faced the former Oilers for the first time, and although they kept it close, they lost. Is this bumming you out? Because it's bumming me out. Mark Brunell saved Jacksonville from the embarrassment of losing to the Texans twice in one season by throwing 2 touchdown passes in the Jaguars' 24-21 victory Sunday. And yeah, that about sums it up. Then they defeated the Gary. I'll never forgive you for what you'll do in like 6 years. Then, as it turns out, it's hard to beat Peyton Manning, and so the Texans dropped their second game against Indy. The next game, the offense was stuffed, getting a total of 47 yards, 3 first downs, completing 3 passes, and being sacked 4 times. Still won, though. Yeah, that's not a joke. The Texans won a game in which they gained approximately 375 fewer yards than their opponent. That's what happens when you have a fumble return for a touchdown.
Running and passing, but it's all about getting the ball in the end zone. Here's Maddox running with some open space in front of him. Loses the football. Scooped up at the 40-yard line. Kenny Wright down the sideline. Touchdown, Texans. Wow.
And throw not one.
Short drop and intercepted. Aaron Glenn's got room in front of him. Glenn's a speedster. And say goodnight. Touchdown, Texans. Well, you talk about having a bead on what the Pittsburgh Steelers want to do.
but 2 pick sixes.
And 2. Out of the gun. Maddox throws and intercepted. Aaron Glenn. It's a race, and Glenn will win it.
This man was
and
a
this one
scrub. He
with
can't
a flurry.
play. No disrespect whatsoever.
Second touchdown of the day for Glenn.
So somehow they came away with the win against a future division champ, no less. And not to mention an XFL quarterback, Tommy Maddox. Ooh, that's some good wordplay. Good job, me. Now back to losing as the Ravens came in and made Carr rethink all of his life decisions. Almost at the end, against the Washington football team, Carr was sacked for the 71st, 72nd, and 73rd times this season, and that's a new NFL record, and we still have a game to play. Now time for the season finale as the Titans make their first trip back in Houston since 1996. They won, obviously, but, you know, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Eventually, the Texans would get their first winning season in 2009, led by Defensive Rookie of the Year Brian Cushing, who played for you! But they didn't make the playoffs despite their stellar 9-7 record. But they did actually make the playoffs for the first time in 2011 by winning their division with the stellar QB room of Matt Schaub, TJ Yates, Jeff Garcia, Jake Delhomme, and Matt Lyon. But hey, they even won one whole playoff game against the Bengals thanks to a J.J. Watt interception.
And he's ready to go again. Batted down and intercepted. Intercepted by J.J. Watt. Touchdown, Houston.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't really understand, but I fell down this hill. Now I got glue on my hands and I got rackets on my fingers. Rackets on my fingers, I got rackets on my fingers and I just can't stop.